You're overthinking it again, Zara said lightly, brushing past me with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. It's just dancing. Relax. Simple words. Easy to dismiss. But something about the way she said it felt wrong. The music was soft, conversations blending into a low hum around us. It was supposed to be a casual evening, a gathering of friends. Nothing serious. Nothing complicated. Yet there I was, standing still, watching my wife slip effortlessly into someone else's arms. I didn't recognize him. Confident posture. Easy smile. The kind of presence that draws attention without trying. And she responded to it instantly, like she had been waiting for that exact moment. Zara, I said quietly. She didn't respond. Instead, she laughed at something he said. Not the laugh she used with me, the softer one, the real one. This one felt performed. I stepped closer. You don't think this looks a little inappropriate? She glanced at me briefly. Not defensive. Not guilty. Almost amused. You're making it awkward, she said under her breath. Don't do this here. That stung more than I expected. Not because of what she said, but because of how easily she dismissed me. Have you ever felt like you suddenly became invisible in your own life? Like the person who once chose you now barely notices you standing there? That's what it felt like. I stepped back. Not because I didn't care, but because I suddenly realized something. Caring loudly wouldn't change anything. We left not long after. The drive home was quiet. Not tense, not explosive. Just empty. She scrolled through her phone, occasionally smiling at something on the screen. I kept my eyes forward, letting the silence settle between us. I didn't ask questions. I didn't accuse. Because deep down, I already felt the shift. The next morning, everything looked normal again. Coffee. Sunlight. Routine. Last night was fun, she said casually, pouring herself a drink. I nodded. Was it? She didn't notice the weight in my voice. Or maybe she chose not to. And that's when I understood something important. Sometimes, people don't change overnight. They just stop hiding who they've been becoming all along. After that night, something inside me went quiet. Not broken. Not angry. Just still. Zara carried on like nothing had happened. Same routines. Same tone. Same casual distance that slowly grew wider with each passing day. But I started noticing everything. The way she angled her phone away when texting. How her attention drifted mid-conversation. How she seemed more alive when she wasn't around me. Most people would confront it immediately. Demand answers. Push for explanations. I didn't. Because sometimes, watching tells you more than questioning ever could. And what I saw wasn't confusion. It was intention. She wasn't lost. She was choosing. That realization changed everything. Instead of chasing clarity, I stepped back. I stopped trying to fix things that weren't being held together on both sides. Instead, I focused on myself. Small things at first. Long drives. Quiet moments. Time away from the constant tension that had become normal. Then one day, I did something unexpected. Something just for me. When I pulled into the driveway, the sound caught her attention instantly. She stepped outside, her expression shifting from curiosity to irritation. What is that? She asked sharply. A car, I replied calmly. Her eyes narrowed. You bought this without telling me. I stepped out slowly, closing the door behind me. I wanted to. That's not how this works, she said, her voice rising. We make decisions together. I looked at her for a moment. Do we? The question landed harder than any argument. She didn't answer. Because she didn't have one. That wasn't about the car. It was about everything. About the distance. The silence. The unspoken choices we had both been making. But here's the difference. I wasn't hiding mine anymore. That night, I didn't try to explain myself. I didn't argue. Because I wasn't trying to win anything. I was just reclaiming something I had slowly given away. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was waking up. The distance between us didn't explode. It stretched quietly, like a thread pulled too far. Eventually, something had to break. When my birthday came around, I didn't want anything special. No celebration. No attention. But Zara insisted. It'll be good for us, she said, like a small gathering could fix something much deeper. So I agreed. People filled the house. Laughter echoed through the rooms. Music played softly, creating the illusion that everything was fine. From the outside, it probably looked perfect. Inside, it felt hollow. I stayed on the edges, observing more than participating. And then I saw him. The same man from that night. Standing in my home. Talking. Smiling. Comfortable. That wasn't an accident. That was a choice. I glanced at Zara. She noticed him too. But instead of coming to me, instead of explaining anything, she looked away. That told me everything I needed to know. Time passed slowly after that. At some point, I realized they were both gone. Something in my chest tightened, not from shock, but from confirmation. I checked the obvious places. Nothing. Then I heard a faint sound behind a closed door. I didn't hesitate. I opened it. And in that moment, everything became clear. No confusion. No misunderstanding. Just truth. Raw and undeniable. The room fell silent. They both froze. Waiting for a reaction. Waiting for anger. But what I felt wasn't rage. It was clarity. A strange, calm understanding that this was the end of something that had already been fading for a long time. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. Because there was nothing left to fight for. I simply stepped back. And walked away. That night, I didn't stay. I didn't explain. I didn't demand answers. I just left. The air outside felt different. Lighter. Like I had stepped out of something heavy without realizing how much it had been weighing me down. I drove without a destination. Just moving forward. For the first time in a long while, my thoughts weren't tangled. They were clear. It wasn't about what she did. It was about what I had allowed myself to ignore. When I finally stopped somewhere quiet, I sat there in silence, letting everything settle. And strangely, I felt okay. Not happy, but free. Later, when I checked my phone, it was filled with missed calls and messages. Concern. Panic. Confusion. I didn't rush to respond. Because for once, I wasn't reacting. I was choosing. When I eventually returned, the atmosphere had changed completely. No pretending. No distractions. Just reality. She looked at me differently. Not with confidence. With uncertainty. Like she finally realized something had shifted. I handed her the envelope. No drama. No raised voices. Just a decision. She tried to speak. Tried to explain. But I stopped her gently. There's nothing you can say that changes this, I said calmly. And that was the truth. Because some moments don't break you. They wake you up. And once you see things clearly, you can't go back to pretending. I walked away from that life without looking back. Not because it didn't matter. But because I finally understood my worth didn't depend on someone else choosing me. And that realization? That was everything.